Hey everyone, welcome back to CS वर्ल्ड। तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं इस जहाँ पे हम लोगों ने छोड़ा हुआ था, जहाँ से स्टार्ट कर रहे थे हम लोग पढ़ना। हम पढ़ेंगे आगे स्टैटिस्टिक्स में और साथ ही साथ कहाँ तक हम लोगों ने कवर किया था उस दिन। अच्छा, वेरिएंस पढ़ना था। वेरिएंस तो वेरिएंस क्या है? द वेरिएंस ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन refers to how much and on average that observations vary or differ from the mean value. It is useful to think of the variance as a measure of the spread of our distribution. फाइल क्यों खुल रही है बात साथ में? Day 51. The variance of distribution refers how much on average that observations vary or differ from the mean value. It is useful to think of the variance as a measure of spread of the distribution. Although variance will have value grouped around the mean, a narrowable mean without a Gaussian distribution, whereas a high variance will have values spread out from the mean. We can demonstrate this with an example by plotting idealized Gaussians with low and high variance. A complete example is listed below. चलो इसको भी करते हैं, पहले लिख लेते हैं. Variance of a distribution. Refers to how this is mean value. It is useful to think that variance is measurable with thickness or generate the plot different variation. Example of generating. I'm plotting the example. Plotting a random Gaussian number with the different variance. ठीक है भाई, चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं. Sample dot stats import now. और चल रही है आज फिर x axis. This is now left x-axis 0.5. The blue with the variance group around the mean, and the orange with the higher variance with more spread. The variance of data sample drawn from the Gaussian is calculated as the average separate difference of each observation of the sample from the sample mean. Is calculated as the average squared difference of each observation. So the sample from the sample mean, which is variance x. 1/n-1 cross sigma I is equals to 1 to n xi mean whole square. When is it often denoted as s square or the lowercase Greek letter sigma, and sigma square clearly shown the squared units of the measure. The square units of the measure, you may see the equation without the -1 from the number of observations, and this is the calculation of the variance for the population, not the sample. We can calculate the variance of data sample in NumPy using the var function. The example below demonstrates calculating variance of the test problem. Find the squared unit of measure. Calculate the variance of the sample from a NumPy random report sheet from the variance of data sample. The example see the random number generator seed 1 random generate univariate observations and calculate variance. So 3 numpy dot random import seed from numpy dot random import random from numpy import var seed the random number generator seed 1 generate univariate observation data is equals to perf strict 1000 plus 50 calculate variance of data result is equals to var data. It is hard to interpret the variance because the units are squared units of the observation. We can return the units to the original units of the observation. The square root of the result. For example, the square root is about 4.9. 4.9. Then the spread of Gaussian distributions of nice. It is described using the square root of the variance. This is called the standard deviations. The standard deviation along with the mean are the two key parameters required to specify any Gaussian distribution. We can see that the value of 4.9 is very close to the value of 5 for the standard deviation specified when the sample were created for the list problem. We can wrap the variance calculation in a square root to calculate the standard deviation directly. We can wrap the variance calculation in a square root to calculate the standard deviation STDEV. X is equals to under root 1 upon n minus 1 cross summation of I is equals to 1 and xi minus mean x का whole square. STDV इज इक्वल्स टू यहाँ पे variance of x, where the standard deviation is often written as s or as a Greek letter is for any revised standard deviation test problem. स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन है, ये क्या था हमारा? वेरिएंस था। स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन डायरेक्टली, तो where the standard deviation can be calculated directly in the numpy for an array via std_dv, ये कैलकुलेट कर रहा है डेटा इस फंक्शन के द्वारा। फॉर एग्जांपल will demonstrate the inclusion of standard deviation test problem. Standard dev data sample कैन बी कैलकुलेटेड। भाई बस आज इतना करता हूँ, काम करते करते आँख वाँख जलने लगी जा रहा हूँ। बाय बाय, कल मिलते हैं, कल ढंग से क्लास लेंगे यार। अभी के लिए बाय बाय। या हो सकता है दोबारा लाइव आऊँगा 10-11 बजे तक मैं।